Welcome to Lilybit's Virtual Visions. This is a series of interviews that takes you on a journey through the immersive world of virtual reality. I am your host, Lilybit, virtual is Rem, but you can call me Lilybit. And I am here to guide you through the landscape where art, technology, and human imagination collide. Each episode will bring you exclusive interviews with visionary creators who are pushing the boundaries of virtual reality. My guests all share a common thread, a passion for harnessing the power of VR to shape new realities and explore the endless possibilities of VR as a platform for creative expression and innovation. So join me. Sit back and let's embark on a journey through the endless possibilities that creative artists and virtual worlds will bring to you. Subscribe today, and together we'll explore the limitless creativity of the virtual reality realm. Hi everybody, my name is Lilybit and I'm back again with another interview. This time I've got a very talented photographer who also does more than just photography, but I will let her tell you all about it. We've got WingZero with us today, and she's very well known in the community here in VRChat. And as you know, I'm trying to feature all the creative people that are in this fantastic metaverse. She is one of the nicest people you would meet. Everybody talks wonderful things and says that she's just the most adorable, really approachable and friendly and helpful. She is wonderful. So I'm going to let her talk a little bit more about herself. And welcome. And thank you very much, WingZero, for doing this with me.
Thank you, Lily, for inviting me. My name is WingZero. I started VRChat basically like most people during the pandemic, like right when it started, and now it's my third year in VRChat, and it's been going really good. And my main focus is photography, particularly with the club scene, social scenes like drinking communities and general like party social nightclub scenes. So I do that, and I do commission photography, so people can hire me to take their photos, whether it's like a couple or do showcases for like avatars like yours, or just artistic stuff. So yeah, and then of course I do avatars with my house of WingZero. I guess it's called WingZero Creations, but yes, that's what I do, and I'm really happy.
Yes.
Hey.
yes. You're a very talented creator here. I know one of my friends has one of your avatars, and she's very, very happy with it. Now, my first
I
question...
don't know who, but thank you.
Oh, you don't know? It's actually
I don't know
Venus.
who. You know Venus. Okay, I'm really happy. She's really nice.
Yes.
I love Venus.
Yes. My first question, I'd like to ask you, I was going to ask you to tell us about your journey into the virtual reality photography. I mean, you kind of already explained it started in the pandemic, and but in the pandemic, so you started just socializing with people, and how did you actually discover photography? What was your first experience? Can you sort of remember how it all began?
I really like capturing memories in the real world, and I took pictures of my friends when we would meet during the weekends on VRChat during the pandemic and also during lockdown. And I would edit them and make them like the way I like them. And then people started liking the way I edit my photos and how I took them. And then from there, when I got when I got a PC to play VR and go to PC World, my friend invited me to a nightclub. And this nightclub was my very first club, and I saw the photographer, and then I saw later the photography that they were able to capture that really inspired me, because in the real world, I also go to nightclubs, and when you go to a real nightclub, there's always a photographer, and they'll take the picture of you and your friends, and you'll see it on social media, and it's like a nice thing. So for me, it's about capturing memories in that aspect. But I also like another aspect, which is storytelling. What I'm going through in my life, maybe it's a death of a family member, or finding new love, or a big change in my life, or a sad change in my life. So I like storytelling in a very creative way, but not directly saying what I'm trying to say.
So it's more of in an abstract way that you're trying to represent what's going on in your life at the time. It's kind of sort of cultivating those memories.
Yeah, exactly. It's definitely I as a for people who probably don't know, in this interview, I'm half Japanese and I'm half French. And I live in Japan. I came back home to Japan after university. But one of the things that a lot of people don't know about Japanese cultures is we're not direct people when it comes to our emotions and our troubles, or things that we're maybe too shy to say directly. So when it comes to the abstract part, I really don't want to be direct. I want people to think for themselves when they look at those artistic photos of mine.
Excellent. Yeah. Oh, that's very, very interesting. So the fact that you are actually two nationalities makes you even more interesting, because then you are taking a little bit of the French passion, because they can be very passionate, and then the Japanese, who are extremely disciplined as well. So like when they set their mind to something, they're extremely disciplined. So it's a nice combination, I think, because you sort of you've got that passion, but you've got the discipline. So therefore, you're able to set your mind on something and achieve it. That's a good combination. Yes, definitely. Okay. So, like,
Thank you.
tell me your opinion on the virtual reality photography. That is a relatively new sort of kind of an evolving field. How have you seen it changed?
Yeah, it is.
And grow. Since you started. From the very beginning. I remember the camera was like, I only started 2 years ago, and it was a lot more basic than what it is now. So I can imagine 3 years ago must have been different again. What sort of trends do you anticipate for the future as well?
I think a lot of people, to answer the last part of your question, I think the trend is that more and more people are going to want to take pictures because they're going to find the pleasure and passion of it, to be able to express themselves. Just like people sing songs or paint pictures, it's another way to, again, tell our personal journey and story. And I think a lot of people are going to like that. On the other side, the more negative side, is some people might just do it to get popular on VRChat, which is kind of a thing that I see a lot as someone who's been here for now 3 years. New users, they see photography, they care about, the numbers on your Twitter or Instagram, or the number of people on your server, and they'll try to become popular based on that. But in my opinion, that's not like the best way to do something. You should love what you do, and that reflects, you should try to do your best and give your best, but you should truly love, not do it because you think people are going to like you. And I think that's the number one core value. As for photography, how has it changed from 3 years ago to now? It's a lot better. I personally use VRC lens. I'm sure you're using it right now too to take this video.
I'm not, actually.
No, okay. There's actually a lot of good functions for video recording. I've watched YouTube videos about it, but VRC lens I use the regular camera as well. I do a little mixture of both, and then I use Photoshop to edit, make the magic come alive. Because anyone who knows about photography and VRChat, the lighting in every world is terrible, almost very terrible. So we have to use those softwares. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very true. Sometimes it's either the avatar is too dark and the world is wonderful, or it could be like the avatar is beautiful and then the lighting in the world is just wrong. So yeah, so you're right. Yeah, the camera has evolved. We've got more features, that's for sure. In what you were saying about the fact that people should take it as a passion, I totally agree with you. But that's what happens, when you have someone that comes in and they tune it just for the popularity. Very, very soon they realize that it's not that easy. It's not just about pressing buttons and that's it. There is a lot of work involved. So yeah, I agree with you that these people will eventually give up, and then only the people that are truly passionate about it will stay and keep going and contribute to this wonderful hobby. But it's not really a hobby; it's
Yeah.
really a passion. It really is a passion.
Yeah. As to add to what you asked about, like for me, when I first started doing this, I would post every day a new picture, a new story. But as of like this year in particular, and within the past couple of months, I've been kind of slowing down posting every day, posting maybe once every other day or once every 2 days. Because one, I do feel sometimes a little tired. I'm not going to lie. That's a normal thing. People feel tired. And right now, my story in my life, it's kind of a happy place. And in the real world, that is. So I'm trying to just focus on one thing, but not constantly put out something every day because I've found my peace with my passion in my real life. So I don't need to constantly self-validate myself every day. Like, oh, this is a great picture. I need to put. No, it's now
Mhm.
like if when I take this photo, it's like a painting. I don't want to rush to finish it. I want to make it perfect to my liking and then release it.
Oh, it makes perfect sense. It's all about quality rather than quantity. That's for sure. Yeah.
100%.
Eh,
100%. I cannot
yeah.
disagree with that.
Yeah, yeah, and it's true. Like I was the same at the beginning. I was posting like almost every day, two or three different pictures, but then it comes a point when you really want to get it right. You when I started playing with the software, I don't use Photoshop, but I use one that is very very similar to it. It's called Affinity, and yeah, once you start playing with the photographs and you realize, oh, this can look so much better, then I'd rather take my time, that's for sure, until I'm 100% satisfied with the photograph. If it takes me 2 days, so be it, but I will not post it until I'm satisfied. That's for sure. Yes, I think we
Yeah,
agree on
that's so
on
smart.
that. Yes, definitely. Hmm. Now, regarding the equipment, I mean, you mentioned that you use Photoshop, and that you use the VR lens, the VRChat lens. Is that what it's called? VRC lens. Which is
Yeah, it's
I
called
haven't.
VRC lens.
I have actually bought it, but I haven't actually installed it into an avatar as yet. Because I'm still very much a newbie when it comes to Unity and Blender and all those programs. I can do very basic edits and that's it, but nothing too complex. So I'll get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
We'll get
going
there.
back to
We
you,
all do.
yeah, eventually, practice makes perfect, as they say. But there's always too many things to do and too little hours in the day, and we still have to sleep. So yeah,
Yep. Yes, yes.
that's it. So now, let me ask you. Virtual reality photography often involves a unique set of challenges. Uh, there, it's not the same as the 360-degree view VR sort of photograph that most people think of. So, because when you talk about virtual
Mm.
reality photography, they immediately imagine, oh, it's the 360 photographs that you just sit and, not quite. What we're talking about here is a slightly different. Can you share some insights on the creative technical approaches to address these type of challenges? The fact that it's not quite a 360 photograph, but we are in a virtual world, which is actually a 360.
Mm, I think I understand your question, but I'll try to answer it the best that I can. Um,
Okay.
So like right now, we are in this room, and the most important thing when it comes to photography, actually, the rules of real life photography and VR photography are not very different. The only differences are the imperfections. We have perfect skin. We have perfect bodies. That is the only main difference. We are eternally beautiful in this game. But
Yes.
one of the things that are different with virtual and real photography is clipping.
Yes.
Doing this. So when I have a photo shoot and I'm directing the model or models, I have to really, it's more of a setup, just like in the real world. When you have a model, you set them up, unless they're professionally trained, that is. You set them up to the kind of poses and you give them some direction. So that's what I do. I set up the models, I give them direction, and then I'll stop in the middle of a photo shoot and be like, oh, your finger is clipping into your thigh. Oh, or another thing I'll do is a lot of male models, for example, they don't have a lot of fluid arm movement. Like, it's very stiff. Their arms are very like this. It's very stiff. So a lot of them naturally make their arms quite straight, which is unnatural. So I try and make sure and direct them to have more natural bodies. So like, for example, we don't have shoulder trackers, like you don't, I don't, but I try to do things to make more punching or more natural body movements. And then the third thing that I do besides clipping natural body movements is lighting. So one of the things that I was involved with when I first started VRChat, so I'm from the Japanese community of VRChat, but I crossed over to the English-speaking community. And when I first started VR, I was involved with 10 other friends in this project called Render Project. And this was at the very beginning of VRChat when creators were creating render worlds. There's renders that you probably see on Instagram, people doing renders in Blender, but there are worlds that are render quality. And it first started with 10 worlds. Now it's grown to like 20 render worlds now. And they're getting better each year. And those are the worlds that I use, but I don't reveal it to the public very easily because unfortunately the general English speaking public uses them for not safe for work things or thirst trap photos, and those Japanese creators don't want their worlds being used for those purposes. Yeah. So a lot of people say, oh, I gatekeep worlds. I do it out of respect for the creators because they don't want those kind of things. So from time to time, I do bring models who have shown me respect in what we do and the worlds that we use and not use it for their things. I do bring those to the worlds that have the amazing lighting and quality that really just make our avatars look a million times better.
Oh, I see.
So lighting, body, and clipping.
Yes, you've got very, very good points there because that's true. That's something that we don't have to worry about in the real world, but in here, definitely we've got to watch. The clipping, the colliders as well. You could be filming, and then all of a sudden a collider happens to be there in your avatar. All of a sudden goes up and down without. It's just a tiny little rock, but the collider is maybe too big for that. Little things like that. It's what kind of catches you sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah. Now what I want to talk to you about is, you kind of mentioned it a little bit about, how your locations for your photography and how you choose your models. And the criteria that you use to determine what makes a compelling VR experience. As you mentioned, those worlds. But that's not the only thing. The attention to detail is very, very important. They be able to coach the models to make them more realistic, because that clipping issue is sometimes it can ruin a photograph. I have done it myself, that I take a photograph and it looks beautiful, but then all of a sudden my hand is or my arm is clipping, and I'm having to edit that in Photoshop, and it's just like, you can get there, but it's just like too much work. So definitely, I
Yeah.
understand where you're going. Yeah, it's what sort of other advice you would have, for someone who's probably thinking, oh, you know what, that looks like a fun thing to do in VR. Maybe I want to get into it. If you can give them advice on how to get started and what things to watch out for, what would it be?
I would say for anyone that's new to VR that wants to explore VR photography, I would do what I did, which is just try to take nice pictures of your friends when you're having a good time. Maybe hanging out the Black Cat or like one of the questy worlds. Try to take pictures of memories first, and really capture your friends in a beautiful moment. And then, if you're trying to go further and further and higher into that, then I would suggest, try to join communities that represent you and your work in a good way. Because just like to any job or any field or any skill, people will take advantage of those skills. And you don't want to have your work, whether you're an avatar creator or photographer or a videographer like yourself, you want a community to represent you and what you do in a good way. So all of the communities that I've ever associated with, they've always supported me, they've always encouraged me, and they've always given me a place to show my work. And I've always been super thankful. And finally, whenever the third thing I would say to anyone, if you do get into this, remain humble. Always remain humble. Do not let this game inflate your ego, because when we take this off, we are just normal people. Unless you're a celebrity, that's a different story. But at the end of the day, we are just people, and this game will not take us outside into the real world. It's very, very hard to cross over into the real world and if you can, you can. Congratulations. But I'm just saying, just be humble. Remain humble in every community that you work for. Donate your time and your artistic ability towards.
That's very, very true. Very, very true. I do believe that virtual reality is like a second life in a way. For me, in particular, it's an escape from the real world for certain reasons. But I see it very much like a new life. Therefore, I do give it respect, and I respect everybody that's here because to me, it's real. I understand what you're saying, and I agree with you 100%. art and technology, how do you think VR photography can be used in practical or, maybe some innovative ways, such as, I don't know, education, tourism, storytelling, which you already do a little bit of that. But are there any exciting projects or collaborations that you've been part of that demonstrate, the versatility of VR photography? I'm very interested to hear your opinions on particular, like, for example, education, which is something that could be very useful.
I think VR can be used in the real world towards education. More and more companies, particularly here in Japan, there's a popular event that happens twice a year. It's called VRChat. I don't know if you are familiar with VRChat. Yes. It's quite popular. Mm-hmm. But here in Japan, it's a Japanese event. I don't think a lot of people realize this. This is a Japanese sponsored event. It's actually sponsored by many big banks here in Japan. So in America, there's like JP Morgan or Chase Bank. And VRChat is sponsored by the Japanese equivalent, which is SMB, which is Sumitoshi Ginko, Sumitoshi Bank. And also many clothing brands such as Beams, which is kind of equivalent to like Abercrombie and Fitch. And these companies have invested a lot of money to bring VRChat to a more normalized sense, because to a lot of people all over the world, it's still kind of like it's a niche thing. It's it's a boy or a girl that hangs out in their room for 6 hours playing video games and doesn't go outside to touch grass. But a lot of these companies are trying to bring it to the normal world, whether it's through fashion, technology, merchandise, home decor like your computer. So that's one of the great things. Now, as for education, I think this could be really good in terms of people. In the artistic sense, I think it would be good for people to explore VR photography. And one of the things that I did in real life is I had a art exhibition, a VR art exhibition, but it was in the real world. And what I did is I took my VR photography that I've uploaded to my Instagram account, and I printed it in very large, high quality papers, and I framed them. And I had like a 13-piece collection, and it went really well. And I signed it for the people who bought it, and it made people more curious about this, because a lot of people don't understand this. Exactly. And actually, one of my good friends, I took a picture of them, and they actually made a mouse pad out of that picture. They printed it. They hired a company. So I think VR photography can be really good in terms of merchandise and decor and artistic. But for education-wise, I think it would be really good for people who are disabled, can't necessarily go outside. And then as for people who are not disabled, I think it'd be really good in terms of kids who want to, do painting maybe in VR or photography. I think there's a lot of great opportunities with this platform. Maybe not VRChat, because of look at us.
Yes.
But
I know.
I don't know if I would want a teacher teaching me how to take photography in this outfit, but I'm just saying, I think the future of VR is really great. There are companies here in Japan that do job interviews through VR. It's incredible. Mm-hmm. It's changing a lot here in Japan with VR. It's really growing, and I'm very excited towards the future of what it can bring.
That is wonderful to hear, because that's one of the reasons how I'm doing this sort of set of interviews. When I first heard about virtual reality, there was a couple of years ago, a friend of mine had a headset. She brought it over, and we played the game with a plank that you walk, and then you fall down the skyscraper, and the roller coaster ride, and he was like, yeah, okay, yeah, that's funny, that's cute, but it didn't seem like there was no point on it other than just play games, and that was it. I never sort of looked into it again. And the fact that I want to show people that might be watching this for the first time and know nothing about VR, you can be very creative in here. And that's why I'm showcasing people that are actually doing this. Photographers, videographers, dancers that actually are like dancing with a swing, people that create avatars and make all these particles. The world creators, they make these fantastic spaces, and that's exactly what I'm trying to do. I think the more the people know about it, the more people that come into VR, we get better technology, and in the end we all benefit, because then the prices come down because there's more people using it. So I am trying to get more people involved in this for sure. Now, there's another question I like to ask people, and this is nothing to do with photography in a way. It's more like towards the VR and in particular avatars. As you know, we are very visual human. Humans, we tend to base our decision making on the way we see something. So, in your opinion, and this is not when you're taking photographs, when you're socializing in a public world with your friends and you come across people that don't really know you or people that you don't know, do you believe that the avatar someone chooses to wear in this game tells something about their personality? What's your opinion on that?
I think avatars are an extension of what we envision, what we wish to appear. I mean, when it comes to me, I wish I had big boobs like this. I'm not well endowed in this section. I mean, I always try to make my avatars look as close as possible to my real body. I know body dysmorphia is a huge mental illness that people suffer through this game. So I always encourage my female friends not to get avatars that are overly accentuating.
Yes.
But when I do see people in these kind of avatars, I think it's what people want to envision themselves in their form to be. Like, I don't have white hair. I have dark brown hair, but the ends of my hair are bleached blonde. So yeah, I have, I guess, emission on my real life hair, if you want to say it in those terms.
Yeah.
I don't have cat ears. I wear arm warmers in real life, and I don't wear high heels at all. I like sneakers, and I do wear knee-high stockings, and Again, our avatars are an extension of what we wish to ultimately look like if we could be in an anime world. Because if core principle of VRChat, it is very much anime influenced.
Yes.
Oh God, I just touched my boob. Oh no. There we go.
VRChat.
VRChat. Exactly. But again, I think anyone who makes avatars, even the people even who make avatars, it's a fantasy of something they wish they could look like. For any avatar creator that makes something, it's a tiny extension of themselves that we're getting, not the whole thing because it's impossible, but it's an extension of ourselves. And the people who wear it, the people who choose, like the one you're wearing, it represents a part of you, what you wish you could look like, something that similarly looks like you, and brings out something. It's like when you wear makeup or do drag or you cosplay. It brings out something inside of you.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, that's for sure. There are certain avatar creators that I tend to favor more. I like their sort of their style in a way. I relate to it a lot more. I have bought avatars from other people, and they're absolutely beautiful, and I appreciate them for what they are. But when I put them on, it just does not feel like me. There's no enough similarities that makes me relate to them, although they're gorgeous, and I have them because they're beautiful. That's for sure. But what I mean is that's probably like the second part of my question is do you find that people treat you a certain way depending on the avatar that you wear? Because I mean, I do have a variety of avatars, but have you noticed that if you put a particular avatar, they treat you a certain way, but if you put something else, these people that don't know you, you get treated a different way?
I think it's kind of a 50-50 thing, to be honest. I think when it comes, I can only speak for myself in this answer.
Yeah.
But like to your viewers, they can only see that I'm like this, but I don't wear pants. Because to me, it's always summertime in VRChat.
Okay.
And I don't like the cold. So I don't wear any pants. I just wear underwear and a tank top. So like summer. And you might think, well, oh, you're going to attract the wrong kind of crowd if you do that. And I will slightly agree. But I also think it's your body language and the tone and how you carry yourself on this platform.
That's very true. Yes.
You know, I could wear any Abby, the most erotic looking Abby, and you can make something seem so sexy that looks sexy to a man or a woman be so normal and unsexy. It's just how you carry yourself, how you articulate your tone. I think that has to do with everything. So I don't think like if you wear a certain kind of avatar, people are going to perceive you. Of course, if they don't know you, yes, they're going to judge you based off the bat. Because again, we use our visual senses before, you know. Mm-hmm. But those first few seconds of talking to someone can change your perspective very easily. So I don't think an avatar is everything, but I think it does factor in a large thing if the person doesn't know you.
Yeah. Now, the reason is because there is a lot of research going on at the moment. It's slightly starting, very slowly. The people are realizing, companies that although we're not supposed to judge a book by its cover, the cover is important because it does give us clues. What it should be is that you shouldn't not give people a chance just by the avatar that they're wearing. Just like, in the real world, the way a person looks, you don't not give them a chance. You can make your assumptions and keep them to yourself and have your own guesses. But at the end of the day, you really need to give everybody a chance. The reason for my questions is because there's, for example, other people that I have talked to, they're trying to get, for example, political candidates to reach their constituents through VR, in very remote areas where it's a little harder for people to actually come into the city. So they are thinking of maybe using VR technology to kind of get people more involved. So this candidate will have to have an avatar that will actually talk to the masses, to talk to people. And they've been sort of saying, oh, well, we'll just make one that is sort of very, very similar to what they look like in the real life. Yes and no. Because the problem is that, for example, if they use one of those avatars that they just do the 360 scan, it can never look absolutely human. And it ends up looking creepy.
No.
And that's a bit more defeatist. You're 100%. Better off. Yeah. So that's why it is important that the avatar that you use is the correct avatar depending on what it is that you're trying to achieve. So if you want to be political, definitely, be very careful. If you want to play a VR game and you just want to get a bit more confidence, then definitely choose the avatars that you feel. It's like a costume. You feel, you want to go like Cleopatra to a party, come to VRChat and you can be Cleopatra. It's good for your confidence. There's nothing wrong with that. Definitely.
Absolutely.
It's a very, very, very interesting subject. Yeah.
It is. I completely agree with you.
So now tell me, I know that you are very good into, very much into photography. And you also do your avatars. You actually have a website. I've seen some of your avatars. I've got a friend that purchased one of your avatars, and she's super delighted with it. And we actually used the avatar in one of our podcasts, like one of our streams. And she's very happy with it. Can you? Yeah. So can you tell us more about that? How did you get started? Why did you want to do that? And what's involved? Tell us all about it.
So as I mentioned earlier in the podcast, I come from VR Japan, and our avatars in our community are nothing like what we wear. We don't show skin that much. We cover up, but we do have a little bit of sex appeal. We're not boring, okay, but we do have a little bit of sex appeal. And we're more of like the realistic side of VRChat. Actually, I will switch into my VR Japan Abby so you can get an idea. Hold on.
Okay, that'd be great.
Let's go.
Yes.
Let's go for the children. So I will show you what I look like when I'm not in VR English speaking community. Just a moment. Okay. I need to get it because I have too many avatars. Oh my god.
Oh, tell me about it. Yeah.
I have too many. Okay, here we go. I should be loading.
Yeah, you are.
Am I loaded yet?
Okay. Not quite. Almost there. It's just coming. Yeah, you are. Oh,
no?
yeah.
Okay.
I see it. Yep. Oh, look at
so
that.
we actually have. So we actually move a lot. We move a lot smoother than your Abby, for example. The bones are much smaller. So the bone placements are quite closer and more accurate. So I'm actually touching my knee in real life. Whereas on my other Abby, it doesn't match up.
Yeah.
Because our bones are smaller, our trackers register easier. So, and as you can see, it's more covered up, but it still has a little bit of sex appeal.
Definitely.
So yeah. Yeah, our hands are a little bit less. Our hands are more softer.
Yeah,
and
more feminine.
Our face styles are more softer, more anime. Like this particular model, I'm working on it right now. This is I have to. My hair is not moving right now because I haven't put any bones in it. But this is what I usually wear. But this is what we do. So when I started avatar making, I wanted to bring my culture of these kind of avatars, but I know I wouldn't 100% work well in the English speaking community. So I wanted to create an avatar that I could bring both together, both styles together. So I created WingZero Creations, and I'm just gonna change back. Excuse me, I don't want to stay in this too much. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. I'll put on one of the avatars I made for reference, so you can kind of get an idea of what we have created.
That'd be cool. Yeah, definitely.
I really like this one. I'm loading in.
Yeah, you're coming.
I'm loading in.
50, 60,
I'm
70,
a beautiful blue diamond.
90.
90?
Loading.
Okay, so there we go.
It's coming.
Loading.
Not quite. Almost.
Coming soon.
Here we are. Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. Oh my goodness. Look at that one. That's beautiful. Oh, wow.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love it.
So WingZero Creations is actually me and another person named Chaos Monster. Chaos Monster, basically, I would do all the Blender work, and then he would do all the Unity work. So it's 50-50.
Oh, okay.
I would make the hair. I would make some of the clothing and stuff. So I made the shoes on this. I made the hair on this. I made the dress that you see here. So I try to make a lot of things things, and I try to make it again kind of a mix of my culture style and the Western one.
I can
So,
definitely see
yeah.
these inspirations.
And
I can see
in
what's
total,
what. Yeah.
we created about 9 avatars
Okay.
this year, and originally we were only going to create 9 avatars, and that was it. But this nobody knows this right now. This is actually we're mentioning it on your podcast,
Oh,
exclusive.
thank you.
We're
Thank
actually
you.
creating. We're actually creating one more avatar set. So it's going to be a boy and a girl, and this will be the very last avatar that WingZero Creations will come out, but it's going to come out next year
Oh, cool.
in
Cool.
2024. And it'll be the last one we ever make. So I'm really excited.
Oh.
We're working right now. I've been working because I work a lot. I have 3 jobs in real life. I don't work on it every day. It's kind of like I'll spend an hour on it and then go to work. And
Yeah. I
yeah,
see.
but
Yeah.
it's been a very good learning experience. I'm learning Blender and weight painting and asset creation, but I don't sell any of my assets. That's one thing I don't do. So if somebody wanted this avatar, for example, and they only wanted the shoes, they have to buy the whole avatar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, I mean that's how you work.
Unless you're my really good friend, and then I might give you the shoes. Okay, because you're my really good friend.
Okay. Yeah, because you do it for your passion. It's not necessarily you don't do this as for a living. It's a hobby, and
No,
therefore it's
not
you're
at
very
all.
close to that. Yeah, yeah. It means a lot to you. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I understand, and I think that's
Yeah.
why they are so unique because you are passionate about it, and the fact that you are mixing the two cultures, I can see it. I can definitely see it. I can see the Japanese type of avatar, which is a little bit more subtle, a little bit more feminine, more how you say that? That's
Covered
I'm
up.
looking for the word in. Yeah, there's a word in English. It's more modest. The modesty is there in a Japanese avatar, and in a sort
Yeah.
of more Western avatar is quite the opposite. It can be a little bit too outrageous, like over the top. Like this is one of my favorite
Yeah.
avatars, but I don't like the fact that she's too big down there. Little things like that. But
It's
this is
okay. There's
beautiful.
nothing wrong with
This
being
is
curvy.
well, I am very curvy in real life, so I kind of relate to it. It's like I want to be something
I,
different. but
your listeners are going to enjoy that comment. They're going to be like, what? She's curvy in real life? Oh, ay Dios mijo.
well, I am Latin, so yeah. And maybe that's why I tend to relate to the avatars that Roxy tends to create. I do like the way she does her things. This isn't the only one I have from
Yeah,
her.
it's beautiful. I love your
Yeah.
face. It's really pretty.
Yeah, that's one of her own edits on the face. So yeah, I do like it. I did edit the hair myself because it comes with white hair, so that's it. And the clothing is slightly like my own version, but I can only do little things, not too much. The wings you've got on
It's
this
all
one is
good.
beautiful. That is just gorgeous.
Thank you.
The fact that
And
oh
it does
yeah, look
this.
at that. Oh
Fix my
yes,
boobs.
and
But yeah.
the boobs are a bit more subtle. Yeah, definitely, very very
Yeah, I
pretty.
like this is my favorite part is hoodie. I just love iridescent stuff. It's my favorite.
Exactly. 'Cause if you like color and
I
you
love
want to still
color.
be feminine and not to be over the top, this is nice, subtle, but it's still colorful. I love it. Fantastic. Wing, you've
Thank
been
you.
absolutely
Thank you.
wonderful. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this interview. It's been wonderful getting to know you a little bit more. As I said, everybody that I have asked about you always has a wonderful opinion of you because you're very, very accommodating. You're very easy to talk to, and I love it. We need people like this, like you. You- Thank you for
I
agreeing with
love
this
you.
interview.
Beso, 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 beso.
Beso, beso. So cute, so cute. Okay, well, thank you very much. Till next time.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye bye.
Remember to subscribe today and turn on your notifications if you would like to join me on my next interview. Thank you for watching. See you next time.